Hey everyone, welcome back to Data and Donuts. My name's Aaron. I'm here with my friend and colleague, Paolo Varquez. Today we're going to talk about skills and things for the future with data and just a variety of things related to careers and preparing ourselves for the future. But before we get into that, I will have Paolo introduce himself and tell us a little bit about himself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Paolo Varquez. As Aaron mentioned, I'm one of his colleagues. I'm a career specialist and a counselor over at Coastline College.
Excellent. Awesome. So, Paolo, let's get right into the interview. Um, why are data related skills important?
It's hugely important in every organization, every business, even if it's small business, large business. It's incredibly important to show that you're being effective in what you're doing. Not just like, oh, I feel like I'm getting, this program, this software is working, but you have actual numbers or data or user experience to show that it's being effective. So even for example, if you want to get money, for grants, that's also really important to show that, we don't just get, this money just for fun, but whatever the target goal was actually being met. So having someone with the skills of, simple data collection and not making it overly complicated, because it is an art and a science. So someone that has those skills down the line in any organization is going to be super important.
Excellent. And so, in working in your office and you
Mhm.
deal with a lot of students, what information are students typically seeking when looking for a job?
Well, the number one thing is of course the salary. Is the return of investment really worth it for the amount of time I'm putting in? Like one popular one, for example, is like social worker. It takes at least 6 years, minimum 6 years, if they take everything on time. But if you compare that with a salary of someone, let's say with engineering, right? It's just the 4 years versus 6 years could make a huge difference in terms of their decision. But also, we also have to match it with their interests and their life experience, which makes it kind of muddy in terms of like, because there's no really like formula where it's like, oh, if you fit here, then you do this. It's just there's so much variables that it's kind of difficult to predict. Um, so definitely matching up what they're good at, their interest, and projecting their potential career path and their salary potential. So that's definitely something that they look forward to. But for the most part, it just depends. So if it's like a student that's still in the beginning of their journey, setting them up for different jobs that are related in that field. So for example, if someone wants to do data analytics, but they're working at McDonald's, that might not match. So I would help that student find maybe internships, for example, at your department, Aaron, or other roles where they could actually get down and dirty with the actual work. So by the time they finish education, they're going to be much more prepared when they're done.
Excellent. So I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Experiential learning is
Mm-hmm.
key in relation and in concert
Mm-hmm.
with formalized education. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I started thinking a little bit more, and I'm going to go off road on this with
Yeah.
some of the questions I sent you, is
Mm-hmm.
we have some really cool tools like Career Coach. We have a lot of awesome things that we're rolling out. How do you utilize that information blended with that subjective of these are the things I like, and here's the things I filled out on the survey? How do you use that, like to blend that together to make those recommendations to students?
Yeah. So, well, one software career coach that we're using, really for that one, it's utilization rate, because marketing is, another aspect, and that's another difficult um, topic to kind of. It's kind of hard to do that without a whole team. Um, but one thing we look into, for example, career coach is like how many students are actually accessing it, because sometimes it is like one student logging in multiple times a day. So definitely we get information on the dashboard as admin. We get information of how many students, for example, click on certain links and what they're actually utilizing. So for example, if we find that students are utilizing the assessment tool much more than the resume builder, then we might push that more in future semesters. So we definitely use those numbers to kind of determine like which section we want to market more for students. And also when we do program review, I think when it comes to that, I'm pretty prepared when it comes to that, only because I know what to expect. And also I think my education has also prepared me for data collection analysis and all that. So when I came in the field, It was sort of like a natural progression. And a lot of my colleagues that didn't get that training in the background kind of did struggle a little bit. So definitely, I think even the future of education and programs, there needs to be some kind of, data analytics or some kind of research methods along with it, to make it effective for all workers.
Most definitely. I think you already
Mhm.
answered my last question, but I'll say it
Oh,
again, is what are the key data points that you like to look at to help inform your work?
well, I would say the student survey that you send from your department, I think is really important information. But in addition to that, every time I see a student, and also every time I do a workshop or an event, everything's evaluated. Everything has a feedback, and it evolved over time. So before I used to do like a pre and post, then I got creative and I just did a post and asked a question saying, because of this event, I learned da 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 da, and that kind of kills two birds at one stone. But every appointment that I do is evaluated. I send a feedback form, and because my rapport building is really good with students, they tend to do it. And even till now, I've seen over like, I don't know, 500-600 students already, and I'm still at 100% rate in terms of students answering the question, was this services helpful? And that's always been a yes for all the students. Not only that, but also the type of appointment, whether it's a phone or online or before in person, we would also capture that to see if there's any trends that we see, and then kind of work on that as well.
Now, that's awesome. And I
Mhm.
really appreciate utilizing that data and really
Mhm.
understanding not just the student experience, but then
Mm.
also the operational frequencies. That's really
Mm.
cool.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so going to our bonus questions.
Mhm.
First, I've heard data said a trillion different ways, but the common ones I hear is data, data, all different ways. There's no, and just like tomato, tomato, potato,
Yeah.
potato,
Yeah.
we usually morph on what someone says, but what do you typically say?
I learned it data, so I go with data. So
Excellent. Me too. Me too. I think we're at like 100% with this, but
okay.
and so my next question is, what's your favorite donut?
Anything with chocolate, like triple chocolate. I love chocolate. So
Excellent, excellent. No, that's awesome. Yeah, you can never go wrong there. Yeah, on a
yeah,
good day, on a bad day, it's great.
it is. Yes,
Awesome,
yes.
awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out
Yeah.
today and sharing your thoughts, insights, and a little bit about the cool things you're doing with data. So, thank you everybody for watching. Please hit the button, subscribe, and we'll talk later. Thanks again, Paolo.
All right. Have a good day.